Hello everyone, how are we all doing today? Hope you're good. It's a very beautiful sunny day here in United Kingdom where I live, and it's just so good. So I'm in the car filming this video. Today I want us to look quickly into problem. What actually is a problem? Because sometimes, we always say that, oh, I've got huge problem. Oh, my children are my problem. Oh, my husband, my wife is a problem to me. Oh, my neighbors, oh, my friends are problems. We use the word problem all the time. But what actually is a problem? A problem is something that has to be solved, or an unpleasant or undesirable condition that needs to be corrected. That's exactly what problem is. And having identified what a problem is, how do we then go on to solve a problem? A very simple example of a problem might be that you went out without your umbrella and it was raining heavily, and you don't really know what to do. You don't have an umbrella and you have to get to somewhere quite quickly, and you don't want to be soaked. Maybe, for example, you're going for an interview. That becomes a problem. Why is it a problem? Because you are not well prepared. You did not take your umbrella or raincoat or plan ahead of to be able to deal with the rain. That becomes a problem, and it's something that can easily be solved. But because you did not think ahead, you did not plan ahead, then it becomes a problem. So sometimes some of the problems we have are things that we can actually avoid. That's what I'm trying to say. So before you can solve a problem, you have to, first of all, identify the problem. Because if you don't identify a problem, you cannot solve it. Once you identify a problem, it's a lot easier to solve that problem. In life, we always have one problem, one issue or the other, but we need to identify them, because if we are just running all over the place, we may not be able to identify the exact problem or problems before we can now decide the best way to solve that problem. If there's more than one problem, then what you have to do, in my job, we always talk about risk assessment. So if there's more than one problem, do a risk assessment and decide which of the problems that you need to tackle first. Because obviously, if there's more than one, and you're only one person, you may not be able to do the two at the same time. So you do a risk assessment and decide which one needs to be looked into first before you go into other ones. And the next thing is, we actually have to use what we call critical thinking. Critical thinking is the analysis of available facts, evidence, observations, and arguments to form a judgment. So you have to use critical thinking to be able to think about how, analyze the problem and how to solve it. So critical thinking is very important in any problem and dealing with any problem. The next thing is, we see problems differently. What you may see as a problem, I may not see it as a problem. And it worries people that, oh, this is a big problem for me, and that person is taking it so lightly. Yes, because what you may see as a problem may not be a problem to another person. So don't take it too personal, or don't be angry that people are not taking your problem seriously, because in their own eyes, it may not be a problem. Take for example, a student at the university. They have 3 deadlines to submit their assignments, and they're struggling with these 3 deadlines. Which one am I going to do first? I can't really achieve these 3 deadlines at a time. So the person went to their lecturer and said, "Excuse me, sir or ma, is there any way you can move your own deadline a little bit, because I've got 3 deadlines this week, and physically it's just too much for me. I don't think I can meet up." The lecturer just shrugged their shoulder and said, oh yeah, well, yes, I do appreciate what you are saying. However, you are a student, and the requirement is that my deadline needs to be completed this week. And that's what being a student involves. You may have more than one deadlines at a time in a week. So you, as a student, needs to work harder to be able to meet those deadlines. Obviously, the student will be very disappointed, but because they're students and they know what it means not to achieve that deadline, they will go out of their way, they will work harder to be able to meet up with that deadline. So, you see, it's a problem for the student, but for the lecturer, it's not a problem. Hey, it's your business. I don't care. You just have to do that. So that's the thing about problem. The way when we have problem, the way we look at it is just not how anybody else is looking at it. And sometimes it annoys people that what they think is a problem to them, other people are not seeing it as a problem. Some of the things we think is a problem may actually eventually resolve itself if we are patient, if we give it time. They may just resolve themselves without even being a big issue. But because we are human beings, sometimes we are in a hurry, sometimes we are so impatient, and that thing that we think is a problem, we want to solve it now, we want to get rid of that thing now. But if we are actually patient, sometimes some of those things can actually resolve themselves. There is a saying that our communication problem is that we don't listen. Yes, that's the problem we have with communication, is that we don't listen to understand. We don't listen. Yeah, it says we don't listen to understand, but we listen to reply. Yeah, we don't listen to understand, but we listen to reply. You just want that person to finish, and then you can give them your reply without even understanding what they're saying, without even thinking through what they've just said. So, that's this. The tone of voice can also determine the response. It's not what you say sometimes, but how you say it. So when we have problems and we think that, my husband always says that once a problem is something that money can solve, then it's no longer a problem. Yeah, you may not have that money at that time, but if it's something that money can solve, it is no longer a problem. It will eventually be solved one way or the other. So I just want us to think about this today. It's a very short video, and I'm going to leave it here. I'm sure we have gotten something from this. When you think there's so much problem that you have, try and risk assess it and decide which one to tackle first. And also be patient, because sometimes those things you regard as problems may not actually be a big problem. Okay, then I'm going to stop it here, and thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye, and God bless you.